But as far as Purdy this weekend, I mean, he gets rid of the ball. He's pretty accurate. He's going to get some balls batted down. He's going to complete some passes. I don't know. He doesn't seem like he's going to be.
That's a bold prediction, Larry. You think he's going to complete some passes, huh?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think he's, some guys it's like are just like cannot complete a pass. He doesn't seem like that. He's going to keep his wits about him. I mean, it's not like he's got. I expect Niner quarterbacks in this game to be under severe rush. Let's be real about this. The Steelers' outside rush is fierce. It's maybe the best in football. Too. And McKivitz is a great guy and has a lot of talent, I think, but he's played not a lot of football. They're 4 deep on the defensive ends. They also have Hayward inside. They like this kid Keanu Benton. So I mean, their front, can the Niners block their front? I think that's the big question. If they can, I think Purdy's going to have a very good day because I like the Niner receivers again to win down the field against Steeler DBs. But it's all about, does he have any time? And if not, can he get it out and accurately in small windows and move the team? And can they run the football well enough against a Steeler defense that overwhelmed their opponents in the preseason? So it's going to be a hard hitting game.
Yeah, I think it's a very difficult game because we're talking about a defense that thrives on negative plays. They're looking to blitz on first downs, get you into 2nd and 14, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, because those are really tough downs to win against that defense, especially with how much variation they have in the coverages they play, how good Minka is at getting himself around the ball, how they allow Minka to roam to get himself around the ball. Now, I do think they'll miss Terrell Edmonds because Terrell Edmonds used to do a lot of the dirty work on their defense that went underrated. He covered a lot of ground. He was actually very underrated in coverage. So I do think they'll miss him. But in general, I think it is a tough matchup. For me, I think Brock Purdy will be fine. I think it's going to be somewhat of an ugly game. I've been saying that from the beginning. I don't know that he's necessarily going to play bad, but I don't know that the numbers are really going to look that pretty for him because it's going to be a very, very physical, grinded out type of football game. That's kind of where I'm at. It's very difficult for me to sit here and say that I think Purdy is just going to come in and go off because I have way too much respect for the Steelers defense and especially that front. And I think the Niners are going to have a tough time running the ball. And we know when the Niners have a tough time running the ball, it makes it very, very hard because this is not a team that's built to drop back on 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 11. That's not what they want to do. That's not what they're built to do. And so, yeah.
As far as what I expect from Brock Purdy, I just expect him to kind of do what he did last year, at least early on, like as the team's ramping up. I do think that the offense is going to be, I think this is an offensive driven team more so this year than maybe we've seen in this tenure for the 49ers. I really believe that. But I think early on, especially if it's a rainy game, I just want to see Purdy kind of do what he did last year. I'm cool with 190 yards, 70% completion percentage. Get the ball in your weapons' hands. Let them do the work. That's all I expect to see from Purdy. I don't expect him to go win it on his right arm or do anything crazy like that. And I don't think that he's necessarily going to have to do those things. So that's what I want to see from Purdy week 1. Now, as the season goes, I do want to see more and more and more from him. I want to see some, higher volume games and that type of stuff. But early on, just ease him in, make it through this game, make sure he gets out healthy. And for the love of God, please tell me the 49ers learned something from that Philly game, because if there's a team that can kind of do what Philly did with that defensive line, it is certainly the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've got pass rushers galore, and you've got Watt against McKivitz all day long. Of course, they should help him out, but why not go at him a little bit? That was my gripe last year, and it was actually my game plan going into the Philly game was go at Hassan Reddick. And the way that you do that is you allow him to flow upfield. Purdy's got great arm angles. That's one thing I like about Purdy. He throws with anticipation, great arm angles. Even if he's got a guy in his face, he can complete screen passes, and let that type of game plan slow the pass rushers down before you start going 7 steps drop, play action, that type of stuff. I would love to see that from the 49ers this week as well.
Yeah, what you're describing, right, is what the Chiefs did to Bosa a little bit last year. And
Mhm.
now I think that was a little exacerbated because I think Bosa's entire rush timing was thrown out in that game because they called 2 neutral zone infraction penalties on him within like the first 4 snaps, which was like a weird thing, you know? Like, I don't know if they nudge, hey, refs, Nick Bosa lines up in the neutral zone, call it. Hey, Nick Bosa lines up in the neutral zone. So they got 2 really good calls on it early to throw him off. I don't know about that, but I agree with you. And I would say also the Steelers front is very underrated. Everybody keeps talking about Watt, and Watt's a phenomenal player. Cam Hayward has been one of the most underrated players out of Ohio State since he came into the league. What an awesome football player. And then Alex Highsmith on the other side is actually very, very good. And I don't think anybody talks about him enough. He's a good player too.
Oh, they get a lot. The question here is, the inside backers, Cole Holcomb, Landon Roberts. Can Shanahan somehow get
Roberts
some of
is
his
thumper?
Can he make those guys play coverage a little bit? And if you can probably exploit them. Keanu Neal as well. But it's all going to be about, how accurate can they be? How precise can they be? It's going to be intense rush, tons of energy. And, how efficient can the Niners play? The thing about it is the Steelers start fast and the Niners start slow. And, it's on the road, East Coast, early morning slot. It's like, it's set up for Pittsburgh to win this game for sure. But the 49ers are like 5-1 to win the Super Bowl, and the Steelers are like 50-1.
Right,
so,
right. They're the better team.
So the Niners are, according to the betting public, are the better team. The question is, how good is this Niner defense? Because in the preseason, you could run on the Niner defense. And is Najee and Warren going to be able to run on this 49er defense like the Niners got ran on in the preseason? And if that's the case, I think the Steelers are for sure going to win. But if the Niners just can stop that run and get Pickett into 3rd and long, I think, they're a better defense and they're a better team than the Steelers played in the preseason. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, I thought the linebacker point was a very interesting one. Watching the game back earlier today, that was pre-ACL Devin Bush in that game. And rookie Devin Bush, now, he's not playing the most perfect game at linebacker, but his speed was definitely evident throughout that game. And you're talking about a Landon Roberts, who's a terrific player versus the run. He's kind of one of those old school backers that New England really likes.
Yeah.
Case in point, New England had him for how many years? He's a great thumper versus the run. He's awesome versus the run. But Landon Roberts is, for years upon years, the scouting report has always been that you can have him in coverage. And then in regard to the Niners defense, I agree, but I think the Steelers offense is getting a little bit underrated. I think, it's funny to me because I see a lot of Niners fans who always love the quarterback sample size, right? They love the quarterback sample size. We can't talk about a quarterback, but they're so ready to say Kenny Pickett stinks. I'm not ready to go there. I thought Kenny Pickett finished the season well. I think if you list his strengths and weaknesses, you're not that different from the guy starting for the 49ers. Now, it's crazy that one went in the 1st round and one went in the 7th round, but Pickett's got a nice arm. He's very, very good in quick game. He's good outside of structure. He's creative outside of structure. He moves really well. He had issues managing the pocket pretty much last year, and he had issues sometimes getting to 2 and 3 in his progressions at times. He would just bail on plays, and he would try to make something happen off schedule. I think he's pretty good. I don't know. I don't know that he's going to be a star quarterback, but I thought he looked pretty good at the end of last year. And I think the Steelers offense is a little bit slept on. And I do think they have a good rhythm and timing going. At least that's how it looked in preseason. Perhaps that's all fugazi, but we'll see.